Today, I will be discussing what's known in psychology as the negativity bias. To briefly define what negativity bias is, it is a cognitive bias in which we have a proclivity to focus on negative experiences or information, rather than positive or neutral experiences or information, even when such experiences are equal in intensity. The evolutionary explanation for this cognitive bias is that our brains evolved to react much more strongly to negative experiences than positive ones. It kept us safe from danger, but in modern days where physical danger is minimal, it often just gets in the way. Like it or not, evolution hardwired your negativity bias for a reason. Overemphasizing negative events enabled our ancestors to survive. The caveman might live a more anxious life, hiding in a cave and worrying every sound outside is a predator. But that caveman will live longer than the one that assumes every noise means nothing. The optimist might be right 9 times out of 10, but if they're wrong once, they're dead. Of course, in modern times, that 1 time out of 10 isn't nearly as deadly, but that doesn't mean the logic is fundamentally flawed. And this is why the negativity bias is also linked to our aversion to risk. Negative information is parsed more quickly in the human brain. And this is why we tend to remember negative evaluations of a person more easily than their positive traits. Research suggests that this negativity bias starts to emerge in infancy. Very young infants tend to pay greater attention to positive facial expression and tone of voice. This begins to shift as they near 1 year of age. Brain studies indicate that around this time, babies begin to experience greater brain responses to negative stimuli. This suggests that the brain's negative bias emerged during the latter half of a child's first year of life. There is some evidence that the bias may actually start even earlier in development. One study found that infants as young as 3 months old show signs of the negativity bias when making social evaluations of others. Although everyone experiences negativity bias, personality-wise there are certainly those who have a stronger genetic predisposition towards this cognitive bias, and would be those who score higher on the Big 5 personality trait of neuroticism. Religiously speaking, we can see the negativity bias in the Hindu caste system or Christianity, where sinning takes a moment but redemption a lifetime. Politically speaking, some research suggests that conservatives may have stronger psychological responses to negative information than liberals. Some evidence, for example, has found that people who consider themselves politically conservative are more likely to rate ambiguous stimuli as threatening. Such differences in the negativity bias might explain why some people are more likely to value things such as tradition and security, while others are more open to embracing ambiguity and change. The negativity bias gives humans a propensity to remember traumatic experiences better than negative ones. Negative news is more likely to be perceived as truthful. We recall insults better than praise. We react more strongly to negative stimuli, and it can be detrimental to work productivity, as it can cause people to focus on the negative qualities of their job rather than the positive, and thus lowering their morale and motivation to work. The negativity bias also affects how we view the people around us, too. One personality flaw or ignoble deed can taint our entire impression of a person. A bad reputation is easy to acquire and hard to shake, whereas a good reputation is hard won and easily lost. Telling the truth once does not make you honest, but telling one lie makes you a liar. And the negativity bias can also severely impact the quality of a marriage, as it can cause one to ruminate more on the negative qualities of their spouse rather than the positive. Or you may also tend to notice your spouse's negative comments or remarks about you rather than the positive ones. Your spouse may tell you that they love you every single day, but that one time they got angry and said they hate you will stick around in your mind. That explains why healthy marriages keep a ratio of around 5 positive interactions for every negative interaction. And if you cross this threshold, your marriage could be in danger. And that's also why it should come as no surprise that neuroticism is the greatest personality predictor of divorce, and those who score higher in neuroticism are much more likely to get divorced. There is also neuroscientific evidence for the negativity bias, as research has shown greater neural processing in the brain in response to negative stimuli, and that negative stimuli elicit a greater brain response than positive ones. A possible way of combating the negativity bias is to actively appreciate the positive events and experiences in your life. This will require some effort on your part as you're trying to fight against a bias which is psychologically ingrained within us. You could also do this by writing down these positive events in a journal if that helps. And regarding social relationships, you could write down positive traits about your spouse, friend, family member, etc. so you could learn to appreciate those qualities rather than the negative ones. Now, if you like that video, feel free to hit the like button and subscribe, or if you didn't like it, then hit the dislike.